So the Premier League season is over. That means it's time to review the best and the worst transfers over the past 9 months. Let's have a look at the top 10 worst signings of the season. Number 10, Renato Sanchez from Bayern Munich to Swansea on loan. Having shone at Euro 2016 and securing a big money move to Bayern Munich, it looked like Swansea pulled off a blinder by utilising Paul Clement's connections and landing the midfielder. But the Portuguese youngster struggled to make any kind of impact, making just 15 appearances with no goals, no assists and not even a shot on target. Sanchez's torrid time in the Premier League was perfectly summed up in a game against Chelsea where he passed the ball to an advertising hoarding, which was actually his only successful pass of the game. Number 9, Guido Carrillo. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Guido Carrillo, AS Monaco to Southampton for 19.2 million. I know what you're thinking, who? But Guido Carrillo was the marquee January signing for Southampton, and the striker cost a hefty 19.2 million quid. All that money, unfortunately, has pretty much gone down the drain, with the Argentinian scoring no goals in 7 appearances for Southampton. At number 8, it's Ross Barkley moving from Chelsea to Everton for 15 million quid. It might seem harsh considering the injuries that Ross Barkley has had this season, but really this is more of an indictment on the Chelsea transfer policy. The Blues had to pay 15 million for a player who played 141 minutes for the club this season, and they could have got him for free in the summer. Therefore, the Barkley blunder by the Blues has to go down as one of the worst signings of this season. At number 7, Kevin Wimmer moving to Stoke City from Spurs for £18 million. Possibly the greatest example of Daniel Levy flogging a terrible player to an unsuspecting club with a lazy scouting team for loads of money. Despite it being obvious to everyone that Stoke City had been fleeced, Mark Hughes still seemed to think they'd pulled off a deal, saying, "Bringing Kevin here is a real coup in my view. He is a hugely talented young player who will undoubtedly add further quality to the group." Look, hindsight's 20/20, but come on, Mark. Number 1, to make a squad player who's made 15 appearances in 2 years your second most expensive signing ever is not a real coup. Number 2, he's not a hugely talented young player. He's a distinctly average 25-year-old. And number 3, he did the exact opposite of adding quality to the squad. He achieved just 1 clean sheet in 17 appearances for Stoke, who had the worst defence in the entire league, and got relegated. I prefer this quote from my mate and Spurs fan Flav, who said, "He's the fattest player I've ever seen, and I play five-a-side football with Neil Ruddock." If he never plays for Stoke City again, Potters fans will breathe a sigh of relief. Number 6, Danny Drinkwater from Leicester City to Chelsea for £35 million. Some mad things have happened in the last 12 months. Donald Trump, 2017 banter. Kanye West has gone full Charlie Sheen in conjunction with his upcoming album. And Chelsea paid 35 million of the Queen's English pounds on Danny Drinkwater. Now, Danny Drinkwater isn't a bad footballer, but as a last-minute reinforcement for the departure of Nemanja Matic to Man United, it doesn't add up, and neither do the numbers. Drinkwater only played 563 minutes in all competitions this season, meaning Chelsea have forked out a whopping £62,197 for every minute that Danny Drinkwater has played for the club. At number 5, Zlatan Ibrahimovic signing on a free transfer for Man United. Now stick with us here. Zlatan Ibrahimovic's contract was up at the end of last season, and at the age of 35, the Swedish superstar just suffered the worst injury of his career, which meant that he was going to miss the first 4 months of the season. Despite all this, Manchester United inexplicably gave Zlatan a 1-year deal. A contract that, in typical Zlatan fashion, was announced with a picture of Zlatan as Jesus shaking the hand of a Red Devil. Bit weird. Sure, it was great PR, got loads of retweets, praise hands. But at 350k a week, was it really worth re-signing Zlatan? Considering he only played 119 minutes for Manchester United before leaving for LA Galaxy in March, no, it wasn't. Number 4, Kelechi Iheanacho from Man City to Leicester City for £25 million. Do you remember when it was all, "Ooh, Iheanacho this, Iheanacho that, is he better than Rashford?" No one's saying that anymore. Not even Iheanacho's nan. She is a United fan though. But still, he's not saying it, no one's saying it. You get my point. The Nigerian youngster's reputation was of legitimate quality, and he left Man City looking for more first-team opportunities, which was fair enough. And at a price of £25 million, it looked like a decent deal for Leicester City as well. But on the pitch, it hasn't worked out, and he has got time to sort it out, but 3 goals in the Premier League this season is not what anyone would have hoped. Number 3, Joe Hart, Man City to West Ham on loan. Poor old Joe Hart, for years the mainstay of this rising Man City side, banished by Pep Guardiola because he was rubbish with the ball at his feet. He even went on loan to Torino, and as a high-profile player on the way down, West Ham of course were quick to sign him. A catalogue of errors led to him being displaced as first-choice keeper at West Ham by Adrian not once, but twice this season. He's still on City's books, but he is set to flee the country once again, this time to MLS and New York City. Joe Hart is on 175 grand a week, and West Ham paid 120k of that this season. So it really has to be one of the worst transfers of the season for what they got. A goalkeeper head and shoulders below everyone else in the Premier League. What?
Head and Shoulders Itchy Scalp Care.
It's alright, isn't it? Number 2, Davy Klaassen, Ajax to Everton, 23.6 million. There was a lot of hype around his £23.6 million switch from Ajax to Everton in the summer, with Ronald Koeman hailing his creativity and productivity. However, Davy couldn't seem to impress in training, and he's only had 5 appearances with no goals or assists this season. The arrival of Sam Allardyce seemed to make things even worse, with Klaassen seemingly being frozen out and offered to Napoli in January. The deal fell through over image rights, and Big Sam claimed that the player should be concentrating more on playing the game rather than the money, which perhaps suggests something about his attitude to succeed at Everton. And at number 1, Tienmoue Bakayoko's move from Monaco to Chelsea for £40 million. Ah, the curious case of Tienmoue Bakayoko. They thought they were getting an all-action midfielder, an upgrade on Nemanja Matic. Instead, they got themselves a poor man's Nigel Rio-Coker. It got so bad that Chelsea fans would celebrate when he completed a 10-yard pass. And Bakayoko's performances have even earned him his own very special song. Roll the clip. At the age of 21, Bakayoko still has loads of time to fulfill his potential at Chelsea or wherever else he gets flogged to next. But as it stands, considering the disappointing return on a hefty £40 million transfer, he has to be the worst transfer of the season in the Premier League. So there you have it. Those were the top 10 worst transfers of the season. Check out the top 10 best, and make sure you don't miss out on that by clicking the notification bell and subscribing to Ball Street. Let us know your thoughts on our list in the comments below, and we'll see you soon.